Righto guys, here we are, McGrath Rural. How exciting.
It's an exciting thing, mate. Yeah, it's been a big work piece getting to here, but here we are, the businesses are combined. We introduced the McGrath Rural and Lifestyle brand, and I couldn't be more excited about where we're going to take this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big move. Lots of people sell different types of property in rural environments. Yep. Talk to us about specialisation and what that means to you.
Specialisation in the rural lifestyle space is something that I'm really passionate about. I've been in the industry a long time and I've sold a lot of different types of real estate, but the thing that I enjoy most is the rural and lifestyle product. For me, the opportunity to specialise in that space is a really exciting one, and to be able to bring 30 plus years of my industry experience across the board, across real estate, across working in the livestock industry, the wool product, selling inputs into properties, and share that knowledge with our vendor clients when they're preparing to sell, and our purchasing clients when they sometimes don't have a high skill readiness level, for us to support them on an ongoing basis once they've finished their purchase. That's the stuff that excites me. And for us to be able to do this together with McGrath, market-leading brand in Mudgee, mate, I couldn't be more excited about it.
For me too, I think specialisation, it's almost become more important in these days with rural. It's such a changing space in terms of carbon farming, the renewables, changes to crown leases, the education piece for a lot of our market coming outside of the rural environment, that tree changer. That education piece and the knowledge is so important to be able to transpose.
And it's so fast moving. You talk about that carbon space and biodiversity offset and all those sorts of things. I just see enormous growth in this space, and the fact that we went to the Mudgee Small Farm Field Days, we introduced a speaker who spoke to the audiences about exactly that product, demonstrates that we're committed to this. So I think when you talk about things like carbon farming, you talk about things like water trading, now that water's decoupled from land, they're the sorts of things that I think we can do in this space and add value to our clients. That's the sort of stuff that's going to stand us apart from everybody else that sells lifestyle and rural property. For us, it's a passion, it's a love, it's what we want to focus on. And for you, Dennis, to take the McGrath brand and the Woods family back to the grassroots, mate, that must excite you.
Oh, it does. For the 50 years that I've been in the district here, there's not many rural properties I don't really know and see what's been produced off these properties back through the fat market, the sale yards.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think you can't just study that sort of knowledge. It's acquired over years and years of experience, and you've grown up in it. Like your grandfather, your father, and now you and your sister, involved in the industry over all this time. So that sort of pedigree is unique. For me and my experience to be able to partner with the Woods family, the McGrath brand, I'm really excited about where I think we can take this and the value that we can offer to our customers.
The opportunity was great, but we needed to do it right. We wanted to do it well, and I suppose that comes back to that legacy piece, and our roots are in that rural environment. You mentioned it goes right back to grandfather and being third generation real estate and stock agents. We want to do it right if we do it, and our name is our reputation, and that's important to us.
Absolutely.
That's why we've been in business here since '86, and Dad in livestock since early '70s. You don't stick around a small community that long unless you do things right.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The other piece to this is that for the McGrath brand, it now puts the McGrath brand in Mudgee, where you've always been, but also in Rolleston with the second office there now. And the rural and lifestyle specialisation and the people that are going to work within that space will work out of both those offices and offer that specialisation to clients across the whole central Tablelands area. Over time, we'd like to think that we could continue to grow that footprint, and that's a really exciting thing as well.
That's right, Stu, and there's nobody that's really got together like we are as a team to specialise in the rural properties and concentrate on them. And for the background that we've had in the district, I would say that we have the knowledge or expertise that other teams haven't got, what we've got, and we can give it to them.
I don't want to frighten you, but you're probably looking at in excess of 100 years of experience standing right here.
Exactly right. Exactly right, Stu.
Tell me what it means to you to see your family and the McGrath brand move in such a committed way into the rural and lifestyle space.
Well, Stu, to answer that question you're asking about my back life, or back time when I started in the industry as a young bloke, even just in the stock part, like in casino and, a couple of tooth in the sale yards, and always as a kid with my father being an agent, an auctioneer, stock and station agent, from day one, that's what I knew I wanted to be, And then when I got the opportunity to get into the industry, do my time in Queensland and Western New South Wales, the first thing, when I got to Mudgee, I said, this is the town where I'm staying. I'd like to rear a family here. And it wasn't, a year or two after I was here, there was 3 gentlemen in the local hotel where nearly after the Tuesday sales, we'd sit around there and have a beer and discuss, the prices and the sale of the day. And one of these 3 said to me, Dennis, why don't you have a crack at going on your own and become a private agent? And I said, well, there's 3 things. I said, I've got no money. I said, I don't own a car. And I said, I don't think I've got any clients. And Jack Batten said to me, he said, don't you worry about that, son. He said, we'll find a way, there'll be a way. He said, I think you've got a great opportunity to get into it. So I kicked off as a stock and station agent and did that for a number of years. I started back in 77 and built our business up, and then it got to the stage where I said to my wife one time, you know what, unless we go ahead and get into sort of, rural property sales and a bit of real estate, I'm going to end up with a golden typewriter and a chair and a desk. So I thought, well, Mum, how about you have a crack and go and get your licence and we'll see if we can get into the real estate side of it. And I can specialise the livestock and rural properties. And so that's how that came about. And then with the 2 children, Adam was 18 years of age and he was ready to go to university and he was going to do land economics, or the layman's term of value, and come back and do something like that. He came to stay for 12 months, took 12 months off, and there he's been for 20 odd years.
Never left.
No, 24 years later.
24 years later, no long service. But anyway, that's part of being in a family business. And then Chandel, our daughter, she did the same thing, came back home to help the family business when we were short of staff at the time. Been with us all those years now, and my son and daughter own the business and they're an active team in the game. So it's good for me to come back out a little bit and help the team out in the rural side of it, which I just love that sort of industry. So the bit of experience that I've picked up over my 50 odd years in the game, I'd like to pass it on to the team we've got. I mean, you're well educated enough in the game. Adam's been in the game long enough to know, but we've still got young people who are going to come through in the McGrath business that need the back training.
I think that sort of sums it up, like where we're at and where we're heading and why I'm so proud about launching this rural brand. If you want to sum it up in one word, it's legacy. And I really want to sort of leave a legacy that we've done rural differently. We've really elevated it to another level, like purchasing and selling a rural property should be a lot easier. We should be able to expose it to a lot more people and do it differently. We want to be world class, and I want to sort of leave this knowing that that's the case. The legacy for me is that my father and my grandfather have both been passionate about the rural space and being rural agents, so it makes me incredibly humble and proud that I can sort of do something that they would want to see sort of advance the industry. Locally, you look at where our shop front is now. My grandmother was born in the fire station across the road, her father being the fire marshal. My mother was raised in the building diagonally opposite, while my grandfather ran a supermarket there prior to Woolworths coming to town and turned that into a sandwich shop. So 4 generations of my family have lived and worked where you can throw an apple. Mudgee's my home. I want to make sure we're incredibly proud of what we leave when we do leave the business, and hopefully that's many years to come, that it is world class. We can put Mudgee on a world stage, and that rural properties are transacted in the same way as a trophy property on the harbour front of Sydney.
I love the family piece. When you talk about that, it really rings true with me.
Yeah.
I think what you can say is, like, you have values, you have your visions and goals and mission statements. They're all wonderful, but you've got to live them. And I think that's one thing that the greater McGrath Central Tablelands brand does really well. We are a family. Like, we say we're a family, but we are. We've got each other's backs. We've got staff members that have come to my grandmother's place for dinner for 10 years, every Wednesday night. Now, I don't know if that's because she was a good cook or if they felt like they were part of the family.
They were hungry.
But you do tend to live the values around there, and people will keep you accountable to those values. So I like that we're sort of welcoming you in and bringing you into the family. It's a bit like a marriage. And super excited where it takes us.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
One thing I wanted to touch with, and I know it'll be really important to the clients out there, is coupling that local knowledge and the local experience with such a great national brand in terms of McGrath. If we look at the guys at Orange, we look at the guys at Scone, and We look at the guys at Bathurst, Cooma, wherever that be, we're challenged by their innovation in marketing, the way that they're sort of driving their campaigns, their results, you know, the methodology of how they're selling properties. So the Green Beret, you know, that's just terms for we are a network of excellence and the standard is high. John's a very hard taskmaster, but that's why you'll notice that most McGrath agents in any of their markets are in the top 1 or 2%. Stu, your thoughts? You're sort of new to the brand, but a month in, what are you sort of feeling there?
Look, as being on the outside looking in, I could see the very high level marketing that the McGrath brand do, the quality, the product. And now that I'm part of the business, seeing it from the inside, that's only reinforced that opinion that I had. For us to go into business with McGrath the way that we have, we didn't take that decision lightly. And if we were going to do it, we're only ever going to do it with the best in the marketplace. In some ways, the rural and lifestyle product or the vendors that own those properties haven't had the same high level marketing that a lot of the residential product has had in recent times. So for me, one of the things I want to do is take that really high caliber marketing and bring it into that rural space. And I just think when we do that, we sell into that market where McGrath's got such a strong database in that Sydney basin, if you will. I just think that that's going to be fantastic for our vendor clients.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you're talking about a national brand, but local presence.
Local people.
And, you know, there's certainly those big sort of corporates that sort of do things at a national level.
Yep.
But, you know, they're not able to sort of touch and feel and know that local knowledge like we do here.
That's exactly right. The other part of this is that whilst the McGrath rural and lifestyle commitment here in Mudgee, in the central Tablelands area, is new, the McGrath brand has got a really strong rural business across New South Wales in particular. And so really what we're doing is we're just growing that footprint a bit more. It's being done very, very well by the McGrath brand in some other locations. So we'll continue to improve what we do, but we'll challenge them and take it to new levels as well. And I'm sure they'll be watching some of the stuff that we do.
Yeah, no, exactly. And look, obviously, you know, we're based out of the Mudgee office. We service the greater region and beyond, the greater New South Wales sort of western region. You've already got a team of licensed real estate and stock and station agents inside the rural business specialising. Where are we growing? What are we doing there?
Personally, licensed stock and station agent, real estate agent, auctioneer. We've recently brought Scott Inglis, who's come back to the area, having had a business here previously. Scott's licensed and working in that space. We've got Ingrid, who works out of our Ralston office principally, working in that rural and lifestyle space as well. You couple that with the guys that are already inside the McGrath brand, you know, the Lucas Shepherd and the Adam Sutherlands, who are experienced in this space and have sold a lot of lifestyle and rural property. And I don't want to diminish anything that they've done. If I can come into the business and share with them some of my skill and knowledge and help grow them as sales agents, it's only going to improve the product, the experience for our clients. And at the end of the day, that's all it's about. It's about our client experience.
New innovation of what we're going to do and how we're going to market these properties and what you can do with them, not what was done 20 or 30 years ago, whereas, Sam comes in, lists, buy a house in town, go and sell the farm for me. You know, it's about what you can do with that. The next person that goes there and you look at that property and say, you know what, have you ever sort of decided to do this? You know, you mentioned what you said, carbon credits on your farming country.
The rural experience, I think, is very different from residential because our rural customers, I think, want to do business with people that they feel comfortable with people that they've got a relationship with first and foremost. And in lots of cases, when we work with our rural clients, sometimes we have a discussion about the prospect of selling a long-term family asset, and it might be 2, 3, 4, or even longer years before we get anything to market. And it's not about just getting something to market, it's about helping them through that transition to make the right decision and maximise the value of their asset when they leave.
Absolutely, and it's sort of that complete circle too, isn't it, with McGrath? Because we've got the long-term managements, we've got the short-term sort of property managements for their off-farm investments. You know, we're handling commercial industrial property, we're selling residential assets there. We're across the greater region, soon to expand into that Lithgow and Blue Mountains type area. So it's all growing, but we're able to sort of be one point of contact, one brand that can help with their portfolio of needs.
Pretty well put it under one umbrella. Is from go to way, the whole planning exercise. Somebody's been on the land, on the farm for 40 years, he's in his 60s, and you say, well, look, we'll sit down with a plan now. you need to know your son's coming along with the property, or you decide to sell it. We can set you up with a portfolio of investments if you sell this place, whether it be commercial, industrial or residential, and so that your when you transfer from the farm to sell it, you walk into something where you've got an income coming in. It's all done and can be planned for you over some number of years before you make the decision. You might think, well, I'm 61, at 65, I want to be off the place. I've had enough, I'll just go a bit of travel.
So I think that really comes back to team, and we spoke about it before, that the fact that we've built a rural team, and rural by nature means that you're out of contact and out of the office for a lot of the time. Having a broader team means there's always someone there to take that phone call. The buyer pool these days, they've got an instantaneous demand for information. They want that contact straight away, so they can't wait a day until you get back into service a lot of the time. So having that support team, that really is going to enhance our ability to get these properties sold and get the right result for them. But again, coming back to team, is you've decided to specialise and dedicate yourself on something you're incredibly passionate about, but you're also surrounded by a team of specialists in their own right that we can sort of have that trusted relationship that extends over some other specialist services, really give the client expert experience across everything.
Yeah, that's right. And the team is as it is today. But if we get this right, and I believe we've got it right so far, so let's put some rubber on the road, and we will have a need to grow this team. We'll always be on the lookout for good people that are passionate about what we're trying to do, that believe in what we're trying to do, that are energetic and enthusiastic. And that's something that needs to be said as well. There's always room for good people to continue to provide a service to our clients.
Yeah.
When I started 24 years ago, develop photos, stick them on a card, put them in the window, wait for the buyers to come and have a look, and maybe stick a cork flute sign out the front. And how times have changed in a quarter of a century, that people can research not just Mudgee but the broader lifestyle market, cross comparisons, and exposed to a lot more property, a lot more information about certain markets, and they're far more educated, but they do demand a higher level of service. And I think that's where we're going with this. Yeah. That's exciting.
100%. That's the key thing there. Our buyers are so educated now, and they do their research, which is why we have to be better, which is why this specialisation makes so much sense, because if we can bring a higher level of skill and knowledge, which we're going to have to be able to add value to that process for our clients.
Yeah.
I think that's a really key point you make.
And I think if I look at it now, and I'm a rural buyer, it doesn't matter what part of the journey I'm on, if I'm just starting out looking for a hobby block to get out of the Sydney market and come up here for a lifestyle, or whether I'm sort of looking to step up into something that's a bit more commercial, or sort of I've been a generational farmer, I'd have to say I'd be pretty comfortable with the knowledge in this group, and that I'd be well served and looked after, not judged at what level I'm at, but certainly served, and I could come out of it for the better.
We want to be about building long-term relationships. We don't want to be focused on listing a property, selling a property. We want to partner with our property owners right throughout that journey, however long it takes, until they're ready to sell. And that might be discussions around, can they subdivide their land? What can they do? Can they sell some of it, retain some of it? I've done lots of business with clients like that. They're long-term transactions, but it's a wonderful opportunity to build a relationship, a long-lasting relationship with those people. And then when the buyers of those properties buy them, often they need support around weed identification, pasture establishment, grazing rates, all of those sorts of things. Water trading is another one. Water trading is something that we've done some of, and we'll continue to operate in that space, trading licenses and allocation. So I think that whole specialised offering in that rural lifestyle space, it's very, very strong, and I think our clients are going to see a lot of value in it.
No, exciting stuff. Well, thanks, gentlemen. Excited to see where we're going with this.
Mate,
welcome aboard, Stu.
Terrific. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, DJ.
Thanks, mate.
All right.